If you need to buy and sell a home at the same time in Kansas City, take a deep breath. You're not the only one trying to juggle two closings, a move, and possibly a family schedule. The good news, with the right plan and the right team, it's absolutely doable. Today, I'm sitting down with my friend Jennifer Rome, a local mortgage expert with Flat Branch Home Loans, to walk you through the smartest strategies to make this transition smooth and stress-free. Hi, everyone. I'm Cheryl McCormick, a real estate agent with the #1 ranked Rob Ellerman team at Reesticles Real Estate right here in Kansas City. I help people all over Johnson County buy and sell with local expertise and a personal touch. Buying and selling at the same time is one of the top questions that I get, especially from families upgrading, empty nesters downsizing, or really just anyone who needs to move but isn't sure where to start. So today, Jennifer and I are going to break down your options, your financing, your timing, and what to expect step by step so that you can move with confidence. So let's dive right in. So, Jennifer, what's the first thing that a homeowner should do if they know they want to buy and sell at the same time?
So the first step is still a financial review with your lender, but not in a stressful way. It's more like us sitting down and saying, okay, what actually makes the most sense for your situation? What most people don't realize is that a recast is often the smartest and simplest strategy when you're buying and selling at the same time. So a recast means that you buy a new home, you make the minimum down payment needed. Then after you sell your current home, you apply the sale proceeds directly to your loan balance, and your lender then recalculates the payment based on the new lower balance so that you ultimately get to your long-term payment goal. And you eliminate the double move and you get to the payment that you want. A lot of clients think that they need a big down payment up front in this situation to get to the payment you want, but you don't. The recast gives you that flexibility while still protecting your long-term monthly comfort. I just had a family in Prairie Village use this very strategy in order to get into the home. They put down as little as 5%. They waited for their home to sell, and then they recasted the loan and ultimately got to that long-term payment that they wanted.
Well, I've also had clients who've used this strategy. One was a growing family who lived in Olathe and they wanted to move to a larger home. They didn't really want to sell until they found their perfect home because they were looking for at least an acre of land within Overland Park, which is extremely difficult to find, especially at their price point. It was going to take some time. But after searching for about a year and a half, I found them the perfect home, and they couldn't go in with a contingent offer because there were several other offers on the property. So, using a recast strategy, they made their offer with the 5% down, like you said, and we won the offer. And as it turned out, their home sold and closed before they even closed on their new property. So, they were able to apply the equity directly to their new mortgage, which really worked out perfectly.
That's great.
So, the next question I have for you, Jennifer, can most people buy a new home before they sell their current one, and what does that take financially?
Actually, yes, many people can buy first and then recast. And here's the reason why. As long as you can qualify carrying both homes temporarily, we can structure your loan with a minimum required down payment. Then once the home sells, you put your proceeds towards the principal and recast or recalculate the payment. It's often the simplest, cleanest solution, and it avoids taking out unnecessary short-term loans. Now, there are cases where a homeowner may not have liquid assets for the minimum down payment on their new home. That's where tools like these come into play. There's bridge loans, which is a temporary financing that allows you to tap into the equity before your home sells. There's also home equity lines of credit, or what we call HELOCs. If you already have one, or if opening one makes sense, you can use that for your down payment.
Sure.
But honestly, if recasting is an option, that almost always makes the most sense because it's the most cost-effective and stress-free route.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And, there are just so many reasons that buyers want to buy and sell at the same time. As you said, it eliminates the need for the double move. They can take as much time as they need to find the right home before putting their home up for sale and risking having to move somewhere temporarily. Also, like I talked about before, it really strengthens an offer in a competitive market. Most sellers are reluctant to accept contingent offers when there are other offers, and even if a seller does accept a contingent offer, they often want a higher price because of the risk that they're taking by accepting a contingent offer. Okay, so Jennifer, my next question is, what if someone can't buy before selling? What are their options then?
So one option may be to sell first and to use the proceeds from the sale of the current home to support the purchase of your new home. Another option is to line up same day closings for the sale of your current home and the purchase of your new home so you can immediately use proceeds from the sale of your home to purchase the next. Another option is to use a temporary housing plan for a short window of time. So you sell your home, you move somewhere temporarily, and then you purchase your home.
Sure.
Another option is to negotiate a rent back where you stay in your home after closing. But if you can buy first and simply recast later, that's almost always the smoother way to go. It keeps life stable for families, especially with jobs, school schedules, and pets.
Yeah, it really sounds like it. And same day closings can be great, but they can be tricky, as I'm sure you've experienced as well,
Yes.
because you have to be sure that you allow time for the first transaction to fund before you can close on the second transaction. And that can affect the time that you have movers scheduled and can affect possession dates and times. So just be sure that if you attempt to line up same day closings, that you talk with your agent and your lender in depth so that there are no unexpected surprises in the timeline on the day of closing. So, Jennifer, you mentioned a rent back. Can you tell us how rent back works and when it's a good idea?
Yes, so absolutely. A rent back is basically a built-in buffer. So you sell your home, you close on it, but you stay in your current home for 30 to 60 days while you transition into the new home. From a financing standpoint, it works best with conventional loans. Many other programs have more restrictive guidelines on rent back timeframes. A lot of families combine a rent back with a recast strategy. So you buy your new home, then you sell your old home with a rent back. That allows you to move once and then you recast after the sale of your home closes. It's clean and it avoids the headache of multiple moves.
Rentbacks, or sometimes as we call them in real estate, occupancy after closing, can help if the buyer of your property needs to close, but you are unable to close on your new home at the same time. And I found this can be especially helpful with new construction because sometimes those timeline, those closing dates are a little iffy. Most homeowners who are building a new construction home like to put their current home on the market at least a few months in advance to give them time to go under contract and just make sure they have those funds. But I've also had clients whose builder needed additional time to finish their new home. And many times it really wasn't the builder's fault. It might be due to material delays or weather delays. And if they're able to negotiate a rent back from their buyers, it really is helpful so that they don't have to find temporary housing. So, how does the timing for buying and selling at the same time work? Like, what would a perfect timeline look like?
So the smoothest timeline is usually a recast focused one, and that would entail getting pre-approved for the purchase of your new home. Then you would proceed with purchasing the new home using the minimum down payment. Then you would list and sell your current home. And if you need to, you can use the rent back strategy if you need time in your current home to make the transition. Then after you sell your home, you would use the proceeds from the sale of your home and you would work with your lender to initiate a recast where they would apply the funds from the sale of your home to lower your loan amount, and then they actually recalculate your payment, and that is what we call a recast. And the end result of that is that newer, long-term lower payment that most families expect. This helps families avoid the chaos of two moves, and it keeps your financial plan flexible.
Yeah, that it really works out nicely. Um, And this process really isn't as complicated as it sounds. Even though this may be a new concept to our viewers out there, Jennifer and I really literally do this all the time. And we will make sure that you don't have to manage this alone. So, do you ever find any mistakes? And what's the biggest mistake that people make when they try to buy and sell at the same time?
So the biggest mistake is not exploring the recast option early. Most people think that they need a huge upfront down payment, and it's just not true. They also assume bridge loans or HELOCs are the only way to access their equity, when recasting is often the cleaner, cheaper option. When we talk early, we figure out the most efficient path, and 90% of the time, people walk away saying, "Oh, wow, I didn't know we could do it that way."
Yeah, I mean, I've really had many clients who didn't even know that was an option. You know, they thought they'd have to sell their home and then they would have to move. And then, you get into the expenses of two moves and the hassle of two moves, and it's really just not necessary. Um, and really, honestly, the biggest mistake that I see people make on the real estate side when they're trying to buy and sell at the same time is they think that they can juggle everything alone. This is one of the most timing sensitive moves in real estate, and it's really easy for things to fall apart if you don't have a solid plan. And a lot of people also misprice their current home. Either it's too high and it sits on the market, or they price it too low and they leave money on the table, which is never a good idea. Another big mistake is overpromising in negotiations, like telling a buyer you can close quickly when you don't yet have your next home lined up. And finally, the next mistake is skipping the backup plan conversation, which can cause major stress. You always want a safety net, whether that's temporary housing, a leaseback, or alternative financing, so you're not scrambling at the last minute. So, Jennifer, when would be the ideal time for people to start talking to their lender and their agent?
60 to 90 days before they think they're actually ready, especially if you're using a recast strategy. This gives us time to structure your down payment, prep your financing, and build a plan that makes moving feel calm instead of chaotic.
Yes, I can see early conversations are really the key. Buying and selling a home is stressful enough when doing just one or the other, but much less doing both at the same time. And that can really be daunting. But by starting the conversation with your agent and lender early, you can develop a strategy that will best serve your own needs based on your situation. So, buying and selling at the same time doesn't have to feel overwhelming, not when you understand your options and have the right people guiding you through the process. If you'd like to talk through your own situation, whether you're upsizing, downsizing, right sizing, or making a big move, Jennifer and I are happy to walk you through the next steps. So, what do you think? Would you ever consider buying and selling at the same time? Leave us a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And of course, if you're thinking about buying or selling a home here in Kansas City, we would love to help you navigate the process. Just check out our information on the screen. And if you want to learn more about Johnson County suburbs, request my free Johnson County relocation guide. Just comment guide below and I'll send it straight to your inbox. So, whether you're planning to move in 9 days or in 90 days, we'd love to help you find your perfect home in your perfect neighborhood at your perfect price point. Just give me or Jennifer a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or you can just scan the QR code to schedule a quick Zoom chat. Let's talk about your goals. And thanks so much for watching Living in Kansas City. I'm Cheryl McCormick, bringing you home with the #1 ranked Rob Ellerman team at Reese Nichols Real Estate.
And I'm Jennifer Rome with Flat Branch Home Loans, smart solutions for life's biggest moves.
And hit like if you found this video helpful and subscribe so that you never miss a Kansas City update. We'll see you next time. Until then, stay safe, stay curious, and stay tuned for more exciting tours and real estate insights about Kansas City to come.